back. So bin numbering is one of those really interesting tools that a lot of people aren't making use of. A lot of our customers, when we go in, are using things like an aisle or a general area for a particular vendor. That can be problematic because if all the vendor's box looks the same, if they're all the same brown box, you don't know what you're picking. That a lot of those are going to look very similar side by side and cause mispicks. What we want to do is break that up throughout your warehouse and organize your products by throughput. That might be further down the line, but we can definitely break up the inventory so we don't have like products next to each other. That'll aid in picking and it'll reduce mispicks. It'll probably save you some money in the process. In this format, I like to talk about how we build our bin numbers and what I've done in the past. There's just all kinds of different ways that you can go about this, and this is only one, but this is a really good starting point to start thinking about it. First off, I'm going to talk about getting more detailed as we go from left to right. And then also I'm going to talk about first these separator points. Right now we have, if you look, alternating characters and digits. This makes it very easy to communicate what exactly we're looking at and visually break up the information. So when you're looking at a huge sheet of all types of bin locations, you can quickly and easily determine what you're looking for. You'll notice that we start out with a couple letters, and what do those represent? Well, I came from the food service industry, so we have different areas for those products. We'll have a dry area for things like canned goods and brooms and mops and cups and things that don't need to have a temperature control. We'll have a cooler area for meats all the way to bananas and all the different ranges in between, and we'll have a freezer section. So in this case, I put a D in front of it, so I know it's in the dry section. If you have multiple warehouses, perhaps you want to put a warehouse indicator so you know which location. Is this Louisiana or is it Missouri? A is the aisle. So I know it's in the dry area, the A aisle. You can see I'm getting more specific as I go along. So I know just right away, a general area where this is going to be located. You'll notice I have two digits here, a 0 and a 1. You might ask, why is it just 1? And the reason being is because when you have more than 10 bays, and this is a bay. So between two uprights is a bay. And in this bay, if I have a 1 and I try to sort it, it'll come out kind of funny. Now I can sort it because with our programs, and we can know how that's sorted by sequence and things like that. But if you ever do an export to Excel, it's going to get really tricky, and a lot of us love to work in Excel. So I like just adding that one character. It's a little bit, a fraction more work on the front end, but it'll save you a ton of time and heartache down the line. Now, Bay 1 means that it's at the front of this aisle. This is a very important designation because when you look at the video on pick path, this could be, in different spots. It could be towards the front. It could be towards the back. It depends. And one thing I like to do in my warehouses as well is actually name the aisle the walkway between two uprights. So if this is my aisle as I'm walking down, and this is Bay 1, on the right side where the camera is, where you guys are located, you guys would be sitting in Bay 2. So I have my odd on my left and my even on my right. So that way, as I'm looking at this, I know if I'm walking from the front of the warehouse down aisle A, it's going to be the first bin on my left. It makes a huge difference when you go to pick. It gives you a lot of comfort knowing you know exactly where that product is. If you were Mispicks, saves you a couple dollars too. And you'll notice C3. C is the level. So we have A on the bottom, B down here, and then C up a little bit higher. And then 3 means first, second, third pick location. So I know it's this product right here, and I can lay my hands on it quickly and effectively. The reason we do something like this is so that the management up in the office can go through, look at a paper and know exactly where that product is and point to it so they can direct somebody there. Also, the picker, when they go to pick something, knows if they're in the right spot. If they're in, let's say they're here at DA01C3 and the next pick is in DC07C3, they know that they can skip the entire B aisle because there's nothing there. There's nothing there for them to pick. They go from A to C. So we want to make sure that we have that type of designation so we can make best use of our picker's time and mainly reduce mispicks. This obviously leads to some cost savings in returns and things like that. But there's some soft costs that you might not be considering, and that's the customer service aspect. We want to make sure that our customers get what they ordered on time, so they order from us again. So this is just a quick recap. We do very general to very specific bin locations. This is one example. There's a number of different ways to do that. If you guys have any questions or comments, definitely give us a call at 408-252-9000 and ask us how we can help set up a bin system and bin numbering system for you in your office.